Welcome back, guys. In this video, I want to talk about how AI is changing the workplace and how young people should respond if they want the best chance at having a secure retirement. And I'm going to share two stories with you. The first story is out of the Seattle Times and it's entitled Older Workers to Get Super 401k Catch Up Contributions in 2025. Federal tax law already allows people 50 and older to make extra contributions above the annual deferral limit to a 401k or similar employer retirement plan. This year and next, that standard catch up contribution is $7,500. But starting next year, the catch up contribution limit will be higher for people in their early 60s, so 60, 61, 62, 63 years old as part of the Federal Secure 2.0 tax law passed in 2022. They can contribute up to $11,250 next year, an additional $3,750 in catch up contributions beyond the general 2025 deferral limit of $23,500. That means that they can potentially contribute up to $34,750 in total to a workplace retirement account. The idea is to give people who are nearing retirement age but are behind in savings the chance to accumulate more money for their post work lives. The typical household headed by people ages 55 to 64 has just $10,000 saved in a retirement account. This is egregiously deficient. There is no way that people will be able to live out their retirements on $10,000. And people may not save for many reasons. Perhaps they had to repay student debts or take time off from work to care for their family members, or they didn't make enough money to feel comfortable saving a significant amount towards their retirement. Some workers may have lacked access to a 401k account early in their career and need to make up for lost time. Only about half of private sector workers participate in an employer retirement plan at any given time. Despite good intentions, the new catch up amount is still beyond the reach of many workers. It's a level that doesn't really help most people, given that they must pay for housing, food, insurance, all the regular expenses of life. They just can't save that much. To save $34,750 for retirement at that level, a worker would need an income of $230,000. To all of my viewers, if you have an employer match 401k and haven't taken advantage of that yet, do so now. The sooner, the better. And this leads us into the second story, which is a MarketWatch article entitled, I'm 38 and completely broke. I earn $50,000 a year. What professional degree will guarantee me six figures? And to be honest with you guys, after reading the headline, I didn't even read the story because from my own life experience, which is deep and wide when it comes to being loyal to an employer not being loyal to you, investing in a 401k, I have found that the three things that will best position you for a six-figure income is experience in that field. Number two, having a portfolio that illustrates your accomplishments and how you can bring value to that company through that experience. And number three, relationships more than anything. If you don't have a pre existing relationship with the gatekeeper of that company or that industry or that field, you can initiate and cultivate relationships. Being in that gatekeeper's life longer than anyone else will position you to have a higher likelihood of getting that job. Demonstrating persistence and interest in the company will be really important to getting that job. And from a Bloomberg article entitled, How AI Could Break the Career Ladder, AI is replacing grunt work in high paying fields like law, medicine, and engineering. In the legal field, for example, young attorneys who need internships for experience typically do tasks like document review, basic research, drafting client communications, taking notes, preparing briefs, and other legal documents. But now, generative AI is doing that work. And the question is, how will young attorneys get that experience to grow into fully competent attorneys if they don't have the opportunity to do these basic tasks? This could create a doom loop where attorneys won't be able to replace themselves, which in the short term is good because they have job security, but in the long term could have devastating consequences for the field. And it's still too early to know for sure how AI will affect early career workers, but a handful of recent experiments have found that the least experienced and lowest performing workers benefited the most from AI assistance, though some of these studies involve simulations and not real life work. It is possible, based on these results, that AI will help entry level workers level up their performance instead of completely replacing them right away, at least. But here's a scenario that could eventually unfold: a world of extremely capable AI agents learning to tackle most day to day white collar tasks, which are managed by a small cadre of experienced senior managers. AI does the research, builds models, and drafts presentations while senior staff make the final decisions and present in meetings. In a new book on AI and human skill, robotics professor Matt Bean describes what happens when the age old expert novice bond that underpins on the job learning gets broken. Across fields, he explains, apprentices learn by watching an expert for a bit, getting involved in the easy, safe parts of the work, progressing to harder, riskier tasks with their guidance, and then finally starting to guide others. The risk with generative AI is that the middle parts go away. Experienced managers will oversee a team of AI agents or applications and may even hire one or two entry level employees to help manage them. But the AIs are doing the actual work, which the manager can supervise because they once did it themselves. In that situation, how does the entry level employee learn on the job? When the expert novice bond breaks, professions change. As Bean recounts, the advent of robotic surgery meant that trainees spent more time watching and less time lending a hand. That raised entirely new questions about what it meant to be a surgeon. If you watched enough hours of robotic surgery on YouTube, did that make you ready to operate? Were you shadowing the experts enough? And I think that this last example jumps the shark a little. I think it's a bridge too far. I don't think that you or I could become a halfway competent surgeon by simply watching a YouTube video. Many things on you in life you can learn by watching YouTube, but probably not surgery. You still need the tactile experience to develop the muscle memory and form those neural pathways in your brain that make repetitious tasks second nature. I recently heard a YouTuber talk about his daughter being nervous for a test, and he asked ChatGPT while they were driving to school to ask her practice questions from this test. And she got quizzed in the car, and once they got to school, she felt more confident and she did really well on the test. And just from this example alone, which is likely one of millions in this country, we can foresee how education is going to change in ways that we never thought possible. And that leads me back to a previous episode of mine in which I said that human educators, like customer service representatives, will eventually be a luxury service. In this article hits home my point that began with the person asking what degree will guarantee a six-figure income. And my answer is that with the rise of AI, there are no guarantees anymore, especially for entry-level jobs. Your best bet to make a six-figure income 2 years out is to get a professional license with additional certifications in a field that requires either empathy or tactile complexity that you'll find in abundance in the trades. And once you have a job in these fields, start contributing to our 401k that we talked about in the first story. Start as soon as you can. On that note, I want to thank my subscribers for continuing to watch. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you're new to this channel, remember to like, subscribe, comment below, share this with someone else, and don't give up when you can get ahead.